Welcome to the Morale Booster Network, a platform for entrepreneurs, career professionals, leaders, and the general public to give back to the society through coaching and mentoring. I remain your host, Dr. John Ugulu. I am an author, speaker, and strategist. I always say experience is the best teacher. You can stream or download this podcast from YouTube, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Music, Google Podcast, Player FM, and Pandora. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Hello and welcome to the Morale Booster Podcast. I am Dr. John Ugulu, your host, and today I am with my guest, Hana Esselink. Hana is based in the United Kingdom, and today we will be talking about understanding intuition versus divine guidance. Now, Hana is a spiritual coach specializing in personal energy management, relationships, and healing. She is the author of The Vanishing Cafe. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you are just joining us for the very first time, I want you to please like and share this broadcast. And here is the reason why. Because you might just be saving the life of that one person who has been waiting for a lifetime to hear this message. This is the Morale Booster Podcast. Our goal is to ensure that we help you develop the right mindset on a daily basis, to help you identify your greatness. So please like and share it. It's free to share it, okay? You can take this as your charitable work for today. Thank you so much. Hana, thank you once again for joining me on the Morale Booster Podcast, and I appreciate you for coming.
You're welcome. Lovely to be here again. Thank you, John. How are you today?
I am blessed. Thank you so much for asking. It's chilly here in Atlanta, Georgia, and I guess it's already like extremely chilly there in the in the UK.
Really chilly and dark as well. It gets dark a bit too early for me. I love the sun and the daylight, obviously, like most people. So yeah, it's a bit, dark, too much more than I'd like, and cold as well. But it's still good to be here.
Awesome, great, thank you so much. And to all our listeners, I want you to know that Hana will be a repeat guest of this platform. She's going to be showing up on a regular basis to inspire you, to help you develop the right mindset, to help you transition from where you are in terms of spiritual coaching, to help you guide you from where you are to where you truly want to be. So if you've got any questions, comments, or concerns, or would like to connect with Hana, she's currently on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. So you can follow her right now on Hana Esselink on Instagram. Search for her name also, Hana Esselink, on Facebook and LinkedIn. Go follow her right now. And let's get into the business for today. So, Hana, yes, we know you are a spiritual coach, right? We know you are an author. Could you please shed more light on your spiritual coaching? What precisely do you do, and how can people benefit? How can your coaching program be beneficial to our listeners out there?
Yeah, so thank you, John. That's a nice introduction. So basically, I'm a spiritual coach. My website is www.yourinnerlight.co.uk. So people, welcome to go and have a look at that website. What I do is I help people find their authentic self. A lot of us are depressed. A lot of us are not following the path that we came on planet Earth to do. A lot of us are feeling out of sorts, like maybe doing corporate jobs, but feeling as if our calling in life is very different from our job. And what I do is I help people reignite that passion in themselves and to help them guide them along that path. And I do that by way of mentoring. And also, I am a psychic, so I do psychic readings as well. And they normally bring up a whole load of stuff that helps the person. I give them prayers to go back with. I give them spiritual tools that they can use practically to change whatever circumstance they're in to a better one. So I hopefully I help people on that level. There's quite a few testimonials on my website, and I love doing what I do. I love making sure that people are feeling good by the time we finish working together, you know.
Right. So thank you so much for sharing that. Now, let's look into some of the concerns that people bring to you so that those who are listening can have an idea of where you can come in, if possible, in their personal career and developmental growth. So, what frequently asked questions do you receive from people, and what areas of people's lives do they typically feel that your service would be highly needed or helpful?
Yeah, great question. It's mostly the same things that most people want to look at, which is relationships. Could be love life, your spouse, or it could be finances. Those are two really big areas that we go through. Career. Also, a lot of people come to me and they know that they are blocked in some way. And you were talking earlier, John, about personal energy management. And this is I'll explain what that is. That's exactly when you feel as if you're on a downer in your life and it's been there too long. Basically, you don't know why you're feeling down, depressed. There's no real reason for it. There's nothing that can be identified. I mean, you have to be your own Sherlock Holmes. You really do. You've got to be your own detective and look at yourself and take responsibility. Maybe there's a reason, there's something runs in the family that you need to be honest about that is, causing issues within yourself, and you're self-sabotaging, or there's your background or some trauma, something like that. Or perhaps it's something, also it could be something else is influencing you. Like it could be actually somebody else's energy is impacting on yours, which could be somebody in your family, or it could be a relative. It's usually people close to the person who comes for a reading. Some people already know who it is, and it's kind of untangling those energetic bonds, and making sure that that person is standing in their own power, whether it's using spiritual tools such as prayer, such as meditation, um, such as journaling, but mostly I would say healing work. I would say prayer is a massive, massive one for a lot of people. And I nearly always give people prayers to work with that they go back with and they report results on. We keep in contact. It's not like you just have one reading and you go. People feed back to me and they come back again if they want to, or we just talk. And I mean, recently I had a case of a lady who was living in Africa, and she's an Indian lady, and her husband left her for somebody else, and she's suffered a lot as a result of that. She's got two grown-up children, and she knew she was energetically being blocked by the other woman who her husband went off with, because she could feel it. Everything was going wrong for her. The money was very slow. She was a very positive lady, but she felt very low in herself. So I gave her it was a Christian prayer, which was a very long prayer, which I found on the internet in 2020 during COVID, believe it or not. And it's all about cutting off demons and this and that. Different. I mean, it sounds maybe a bit heavy, but she texted me yesterday and she said the money started to flow in, and she's got a return back on a bill that she never thought she was going to get back. And a lawyer she was trying to contact about her divorce case wasn't contacting her, suddenly come back. So it was like, yes, thank you, God, this works. So this is what I do. I help people to recognize what their challenges or energetic blocks are, and we work through that one way or another.
Wow, that's great to know. Thank you so much for sharing that information. And I believe that there's so many people who are going through situations like that, and
Yes.
they think or feel that nothing can be done to help them get out of that situation. We typically encourage them and recommend prayers and Bible verses for them, because I'm a person of faith. So now I've got a question for you. How can we distinguish between intuitive thoughts that come from our own mind versus divine guidance that comes from God, especially when they both feel similarly compelling?
That's a great question. And I'm going to say that I don't think anything is wrong with intuition, by the way. It can really be very powerful and it can guide you. And that's kind of like your own wisdom of your own inner self talking to yourself. And sometimes it is the voice of God as well. God talks to us in a consistent, quiet way. And I don't think it's ever a pushy way. It's always in a loving way, and it's in a way that makes you recognize that there's something in your life you need to change. That's how I recognize that voice, a quiet voice. Whenever I hear the voice of what you would call God, because I believe in Jesus Christ as well, just like you do, John, I hear my full name being said. I hear Hana Esselink, do this. And it only says it once. It doesn't repeat itself. And then I know that that's a sort of an authentic voice that I need to listen to. I think at the moment, a lot of people are listening to too many different voices. And, there's the voice of the media, there's the voice of certain celebrities or the voice of politicians. And you're led astray very easily from the true rock, which is yourself and whatever you believe in your faith, right? So it's very hard. That's what I'm talking about, personal management. It's very good to have a routine. Like, for example, in the morning, I will pray. I have an altar. I always pray in the morning and I pray in the evening. And I know exactly what prayers I say. I know exactly what I do. And that's personal to me. And then I will do maybe 10 minutes of meditation, 10 minutes yoga. And I'm pretty much set up from the day after I've done that. And I notice when I don't do that things feel wobbly or they don't feel as strong. The foundation is not as strong. And, it talks in the Bible, where is it? Is it in Ephesians? Where they're talking about putting on the armor of God, That's so important. That is key. That is vital in this day and age to manage your own energy, however you do it, through whatever faith you are a believer in. I'm going to say, as long as it's a spiritual faith and it's something good, then for me, it is Jesus Christ. But, I've also looked into Lord Shiva and the energies of Lord Shiva. I've been talking to a Hindu friend about that who really believes in Lord Shiva. I have Muslim friends, and I think everybody has a routine. What I find most people are able to manage their energy and manage themselves and their day very well is they have a good routine.
All right, thank you so much for sharing that. I love the fact that you are a person of faith as well, and you believe in meditation, you believe in prayers, you believe in you believe in the supernatural power
Yes,
of God
100%.
and the abilities that God has bestowed in us. So that alone says a lot. So what's the feedback from people you have been working with?
A lot of
How's
the
the feedback
feedback is the feedback's great. I mean, I'm not here to totally up myself. It's not about my ego, but I actually love being a channel helping them. And often when I do that, I find that they kind of know sometimes what they need to do, but I'm the prompt to make them do it. Maybe they can't do it because of cultural reasons, or they're stuck in a relationship where they haven't been able to move as freely as they would like to. People kind of live in a lot of denial, John. I'm sure you'll find that. People live in a lot of denial about what their true feelings and what they really need, and not what they want, what they really need. And so I think it's quite important for us to be the first door you can open is through prayer, because prayer is such a heartfelt, communication with the divine, that when you're saying from your heart, this, please show me the right way, signpost me, more than likely you will be signposted to someone, something, a situation, or you'll get something in your mind, will suddenly get the idea that you need what you need to do, you know. And I'm sure you've had that, John, as well as most people. But it's understanding that even if it is your intuition, it is not wrong, because it's a divine part of yourself. I believe it's a part of yourself that receives messages from the divine, and it's put there. It's like your GPS, your spiritual GPS. We all need a spiritual GPS, right? Because otherwise, what do you have? It's like that. I don't know if you've seen that. I always forget it. That film with Harrison Ford, the Indiana Jones, but it's the one where he's standing on the edge of the cliff and his dad is very sick. Sean Connery is very sick. I cannot remember the title, which one it is, but that's where he has to take that first step into nothingness over the cliff, and the bridge appears, and then he's able to walk across the bridge. And that's what faith is like. It's stepping outside of whatever emotion you're feeling. And sometimes it's very hard to do that when you're depressed or you're sunk in yourself or you're grieving. Grief is a massive one. Or guilt, that's also another massive one. These can literally sink you down. So don't be afraid to just pray, even if you feel silly. Just say that prayer and ask for help, ask for guidance, or you can reach out to a spiritual teacher like myself or someone else, and we will guide you. But it ultimately, the power has to come from you. It's in you. It's already there.
Yes, I love that. We are a royal priesthood. The thing is, too many people do not know the God-given powers that they have. Like myself, I am a Christian, and I so much excuse me. I so much believe in. There is a Bible verse that Second Corinthians chapter 5 verse 17. It says, "Therefore, if anyone is in Christ, the new creation has come. The old has gone. The new is here." So it means that it doesn't matter what, in my opinion, it doesn't matter what we feel has happened in the past. For as long as we know who we are, for as long as we know where we are from, for as long as we know why we're on earth, and we know where we're going and what we can do, we have the power. We have the power because we've been given the authority to be priests, prophets, and kings. So, what's the reason
And
behind a
queen.
lot of people? Yeah, what do you think is the reason why people do not know that they possess these powers, these God-given powers?
That's a tough question. I think from what I've seen, um, a lot of people don't believe in themselves, basically. That's what it is, for whatever reason. Using the example that I was talking about earlier, that lady who came to me, her belief was very low because of her divorce and what her ex-husband had put her through. That it affected her well-being and it affected her emotional state and her mental well-being. So she was still fighting though, but you could see it, you could see that she was praying and she said my prayer, things were happening. I think a lot of people need to recognize that if you're feeling depressed or low right now, that's okay, but just don't stay there. Recognize that you have the power and find the support that you need, whether it's through another person who's very supportive, like a counselor or a therapist, or someone who's very supportive in the family or friends, and really start that journey. And I'm sure you'd agree, John, that this is a journey. If you've had massive trauma in your life or something, that's not going to go away in a day. If you've had something really deep and horrible happen to you, that's going to take maybe years to actually unravel and even heal. And sometimes people die and they're never even healed. I used to work at a place, because my background is in communications. Obviously, for legal reasons, I can't say much, but I used to work in a place where people had been abused sexually, and some of the stuff we used to get from these people who are now in their 70s or 80s, they'd never been able to get a job, or they'd never been able to have relationships because of the trauma of what they went through. And so you have to remember and have compassion for every single person, because it's what might be easy for you and me, John, might be really hard for somebody else to even lift themselves out. But what I'm saying to anybody who might be going through that is, don't be afraid to try and get the help that you need. And if somebody isn't the right person for you, just keep on trying. The right help is there for you. And, the prayer will guide you because that's divine guidance. So, it's not coming from a person, it's coming from the divine. And that is the kind of help that I personally would go for.
Yes, thank you so much for sharing that. And we you're right about that. That completely resonates with me. There's so many people who cannot go through these journeys on their own, and that's why they must be very careful where they go to and who they talk to, right? So,
Yeah,
in your
absolutely.
opinion, in your opinion, um, what are the signs or red flags that someone should look out for when distinguishing divine guidance from other misleading influences, such as intuition that is rooted in the flesh or external sources?
Yeah, so I actually firmly believe that truth resonates deep inside us. And if you meet someone, you're kind of your instinct, your inner self tells you, or divine guidance tells you, this is the right person for you. The amount of people that have come to me and they've just found my number online or something and have said, I just feel you were the right person. And it's worked out great. I think we've got to give people some level of kind of respect in the sense that people are pretty intuitive, actually. Even if you're not a naturally intuitive person, you kind of know, if something is good for you or not. Let's just say most people do know that. So that's the starting point. That's the firm ground that you're standing on. And then the point is, where does your spiritual GPS take you from there? Where do you go from there? And I think that a lot of people are too scared maybe sometimes to break out of that because it means working on themselves as well. But the beauty of it is that the divine guidance will take you to that person who is in alignment with God, if you want to call it God or the universe. You will meet that person. They say that when the pupil is ready, the teacher appears. And I actually really believe that. And that's what happened to me. And you could be in the worst messy state ever. I remember, John, I'm being really open here, but I remember when I met my teacher, who I'm still in contact with, when I was a lot younger for the first time. And she said to me, if you don't deal with your anger, you're going to be dead before you're 30. And that was such a wake-up call. It was like, my God, why am I so angry? And then I realized it was because of all the trauma we had a broken family. There was a lot of anger and frustration, a lot of things that weren't right. And if you're coming from a place like that, guys, I want to give you hope. And I want to say to you, I've been there and I know exactly what it's like. And it was a miracle how I left home at 17 and I found my head teacher put me in contact with a lady who I was going to stay with, who happened to be a Christian lady. Nothing is by accident, you know. And she's still my friend. And her daughters were little then. They've all grown up now. They're married. They got kids. I mean, I was divinely guided, and there was something in me that was really hungry for finding the truth. And I got baptized because I believe in Jesus Christ. I have to say, I don't necessarily get on with the church, as I was saying to you earlier. Churches can be quite dogmatic, and that wasn't for me, but I'm sure somewhere there is a nice church for me. But lovely people, but just very dogmatic in their attitude towards other faiths and stuff a lot of the time, which I don't like. But what I want to say to you is there's always hope. The universe is an intelligent place. God is a huge intelligence that will show you you're having that experience you're having for a reason. And it's probably there to help you grow and help other people or be of service in some way. So don't give up hope on yourself.
Yes, I love that. And there are certain things you talked about that I completely that completely resonates with me. Sometimes the issue of religion could be complicated. It could give people reasons to want to doubt if what the people of faith are doing, if it's right, especially when it has to do with the discrimination and things like that. So it resonates with me. Um, my mentors always tell me that religion is a major problem that we have in the world today. right? We are all spiritual beings, right? We are
Mm.
all from one God. But religion is a very dangerous thing,
I think you're frozen, John. Can you hear me?
Oh, yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. Yeah.
Oh,
I
all
absolutely
right,
agree.
right. Right.
Yeah, sorry.
So we are all spiritual beings, and we should be able to live happily and help people who need help, right? And not be proud about anything because we don't own anything. We came to this world empty and we would all go back empty, right? So if we are privileged to be used by God, to be vessels of God, to do great things, it's just an assignment. Whatever we have is just temporary. We're being used as vessels. So I agree with you on that. Thank you so much for sharing. Now,
Welcome.
I'd like to ask you one last question before I let you go. Um,
Of course.
how can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. It's fine.
Okay, great. Okay, great. My question is, for someone who is going through some challenges, probably in their relationships, and they're very hurt, like very, very hurt, still very upset, still very angry. How can you ensure that their intuition is aligned with God's will, especially when their own desires or fears uh, might cloud, their fears might,
The judgment. Yeah.
yes, might cloud their judgment. So how can you help them test whether their feeling is right or if they're just being humans?
We're just being humans because we've all been through there. I've been in a lovely relationship that broke up before I met my husband, and a lot of the people that come to me are in quite dire straits, and they have children as well. So they have that separation, and the kids are caught in the middle, and we all go through these challenges. I think you might not necessarily be in alignment when you're feeling that angry with yourself or with God, because all you can hear is the thunder of your own emotions, whether it's anger, grief, or rejection or sadness, depression. That's the point where people can sink very low, and if you sink any lower than that, you might possibly become suicidal, right? Unfortunately, and I have seen some people like that. So I think the most important thing to do is to, once you recognize, because it's all about self-awareness, John, you have to be aware and understand that you're in the state of trauma, of some kind of trauma. Once you recognize that, please get help. Don't remain a victim in that rock bottom place. Get out of there and find the next step up. The next step up might just be having a morning routine where you can cope, going for a run, or listening to a positive podcast like this one. Or if you're not even ready for that, it might just be therapy. It might be talking to somebody or a good friend for half an hour. It might be doing an exercise, going to the gym. You do what works for you. It might be a ton of prayers. It might be Psalm 23 or Psalm 91, which I love that one, right? Stamping on the serpent and the lion or whatever. And that's the one where I think you, bit by bit, you got to put yourself together. You got to put yourself together. And I have met people who have been through really bad trauma or some kind of a breakup, and they're just sunk and they remain sunk. And when you try to talk to them about it, they don't want to know. It's like they pulled a cover over their ears. They don't want to hear it anymore. So for that, you can just offer compassion and be a friend, but you also have to be mindful of your own energy. Again, it comes back to your own energy and knowing that these people can drain you. They can be what people call energy vampires. So not because they want to be, but because they're in that state where they can't see themselves out of that paper bag or whatever it is. So you pray for them. I firmly believe in prayer as well. And you don't have to tell them you're doing it. You just pray for them behind the scenes because your faith is more stronger than theirs at that point. So you say, Father, please help so and so. I pray for them to get the guidance that they need. And I have seen that work as well. So I think you can do a number of things, but if you're feeling that bad in yourself, first thing is seek help. There are numbers you can call. You can call the Samaritans, you can call other numbers, you can reach out to one or two people. Just don't feel so alone in it. That's where the noise becomes deafening, and that's when people can do drastic things.
Yes, thank you so much for sharing that. Ladies and gentlemen, we're still on the Morale Booster podcast. I'm sure you learned a thing or two from Anna. She just suggested that you should seek help now that you can. Do not think you can go through trauma all by yourself. Seek help. Take advantage of all the available resources that are out there. All right. Thank God we are, with a click of a button, you can actually have access to all these resources. Seek help now that you can. I don't know where you're listening to us from. Please remember to like and share this broadcast, because you might just be saving the life of that one person who has been waiting for a lifetime to hear this message. So, Anna, thank you so much for joining us on this program. Before I let you go, I want you to, for just 1 minute, I typically ask my guests to say some words of encouragement to whoever is listening to us right now. By the grace of God, we're streaming on multiple platforms, over 20 platforms right now. And we only have about three platforms that are showing the video of it. But majority of them are listening to the audio. And we don't know who's listening to us right now. So I want you to, for just a minute, say some words of encouragement to that man or that woman who is going through a challenging time, who feels that right now they are in a situation that cannot be resolved because of what they've been told by the people around them. Just for 1 minute, share some words of encouragement.
So my words, this is a tough one, but my words are basically to say to you that I have been there, other people have been there. I've just come today, before I did this live with John, I came from a very challenging court case, and I can't obviously say any details about that. It's nothing to do with me, it's to do with someone else, but I was supporting them. And that person had faith and blew me away, sitting there crying. Had to step outside for a bit, because to be in that situation and have faith is crazy. And I just want to say to you guys, have faith. You are worth it. You are powerful beings. That's why you're here. We all have a path that we're supposed to follow, and pray and meditate for the guidance to make sure that you do find the people or persons to help you. And I am always here. And you can find me on my website. It's www.yourinnerlight.co.uk, or you can Google my name and you can contact me that way.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Anna. It's been a pleasure having you here. And yeah, you have access to us. Whenever you feel there is an important topic you want to share with my audience or members of our community, please feel free to just go on and, you know, confirm a date and a time. I'll be more than happy to come have a conversation with you. You have access to us. So, and you have some resources and tools that will be beneficial to those who are in our community. So anytime, feel free to come back, and I'll be more than happy to host the program again. So thank you once again for your time. And I always tell my audience, my listeners, that whatever has a beginning surely has an end. And we're excited to share some amazing ways for you who's listening to us to stay connected with our mission and continue to grow together. I want you to know that your support and engagement means the world to us. And here's how you can get involved in what we do. There are four ways. The first one is you can support our mission and help us continue uplifting lives by making a donation. Our podcast is to help people around the world. greatness through coaching. So we bring in guests like Anna to come wisdom, coaching, and mentoring and strategies on how we can move from where we are to where we want to be. So if you feel you've been impacted positively through our program, feel free to support with a donation. Nothing is too small. You can visit our website, www.johnughulu.com. It's www.johnughulu.com. Go right there, click on the donation icon, and go. It's going to be an easy process for you. Nothing is too small. Whatever you send to us will be tax deductible because we are a 501c3 nonprofit organization. Your generosity allows us to keep spreading hope and positivity. And the second way you can stay connected with us is if you're looking for inspiration, you can go to our website, purchase some of our inspirational books. Those books are designed to motivate and encourage you on your journey. And thirdly, you can tune into our latest podcast episodes where we share powerful messages of hope, resilience, and personal growth, just like this one. You can listen now and let the words lift your spirit. And lastly, you can become a part of our growing community where we uplift and inspire one another every day. So you can subscribe today for $10 and receive exclusive content, daily motivation, and access to special events. You can do all that via our website. And when you subscribe, you can be a repeat guest of our community, thereby showcasing your brands, your services, and your goods to a different set of people. So, thank you for being a part of this journey with us. Together, we can continue to make a lasting impact and spread positivity in all we do. I don't know where you're listening to us from right now. I don't even know what you know about yourself. Yes, you who's listening to me, I don't know what you know about yourself. But here's one thing that I know about you. I know you have greatness within you. I know you have everything you need to become a better version of yourself. And remember, today is the first day of the rest of your life. Stay blessed, everybody. Bye for now. Thank you, Anna. Talk to you soon.
Thank you. Stay
Bye,
blessed,
everybody.
everybody. Thank you. Thank you, John.
All right. You're welcome.